we have a wish. The wish is for this researcher who has all these types of data that we've already logged, let's say, photos, server logs, client on mobile click streams, and also some maybe audio recordings that maybe they use Jot for. And the researcher has only one day to deal with all this information and get through it all and try to figure out what is interesting. So we want this box that spits out what is interesting. So the researcher just shoves all that stuff into the box and notes down what they expected. So this is what they expect. This is what I expect to happen. And at the other end of the box, it pops out, oh, this is interesting and that is interesting. Where interesting can be defined by everybody's doing it and also give the supporting data for where that happened, or that we expected X but didn't see that, so give the supporting data for that perhaps. If we wanted them to click search, this is where they click search and the supporting data for that. If something broke, tell us when that happened. And if there are giant gaps of big gaps where there was inactivity, which might mean the users didn't get it, or something was not interesting, or something was broken, tell us about that, give us the link to the data. And also some near misses. So for example, if we meant for something to be a certain click target, but they clicked next to that click target, maybe they missed. And that's something we need to know if it happened a lot. So at the end of the day, when this box spits out these types of things that are interesting, the researcher can just know where to target their energy and look at those types of lists and scan those and start from there. And at the end of the day, they have less to deal with. So that's what we hope for someone to help us build.
As I was wondering, were you pitching this as something that
surfaces interesting stuff across all studies you may want to run, because they're just constants across all or most research questions? Or is it something you would instrument specifically for a study at hand?
So, good question. I think that for this, this idea was that we would probably, the tool would have certain types of input that would work across studies, so it would take these kinds of input. But at this stage where we shove it into the box and we tell it what we expected, that would be a per study kind of thing.
So I might think that actually telling it what you expect, that could be an area where there needs to be support to encourage people to really be explicit about a lot more expectations than we normally are. They aren't necessarily your focus research questions, but things that if things turn out a little bit differently than you expect, you want to find out about. That seems like a place where a tool could really help you reflect on those expectations and assumptions.
So structure that.
Mm-hmm. Because usually people are quite clear about what their main research questions are and how they're going to analyze those, but some of these peripheral things that you might overlook, and some kind of decision support and analysis tool would be valuable in that vein, I would think. Like, especially talking about things like near misses and breaks in usage.
Yeah, those things could be across studies. And maybe that could be, wish list, very wish list, but I could imagine that being built on and pulled down from like a cloud or something, like almost like a toolkit that you just apply this, and this. Like, here's the standard, here's the library of things that are potentially interesting. Here are the 10 that seem applicable, or even better, 5, that seem really applicable, or the 2 I actually care about right now.
But then you would still instantiate it with the specific product you're investigating.
Yeah.
So this is the click target in this situation, or this is the click target.
Yeah, we would have to define that somehow. I would expect to have to define that somehow.